Shalom, shalom, kulam. This is Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, AASH or AASH. And we're continuing We Are Shemitic Semitic series. This is part 5. And part 5 is We Are Not Anti-Shemitic Semitic. Let's get into it. All right. All right. Now, 5A. We are not anti-Shemitic Semitic, okay? Now check this out. What's the definition of Semitic? Semitic is 1, languages, another word for Semitic, and 2, peoples, another word for Semitic. I was telling you, we use Shemitic, right? And Shem is one of the 3 sons of Noah, because Noah had Ham, Shem, and Japheth, or Japheth, right? So we are Afro-Asiatic, we are Shemitic, and we are Hebrew. We are Edenic African Israelites. So you can look at my other 4 videos for that breakdown. I'm just going to go into we are not anti-Shemitic, Semitic. All right, so I gave you Shemitic. Now you have Semitic. Semitic is relating to or denoting a family of languages that includes Hebrew, Arabic, and Aramaic, and certain ancient languages such as Phoenician and Akkadian, constituting the main subgroup of the Afro-Asiatic family. And then 2, relating to the peoples who speak Shemitic or Semitic languages, especially Hebrew and Arabic, right? You have Semitic on the side, Eastern Semitic, Akkadians. Central Shemitic, you have Phoenicians, Hebrews, Ammonite, Moabites, Edomite, Ugaritic, Amorite, Aramaic, Syrian, and then you have Arabic, Maltese, and then you have Ge'ez, Amharic, Tigrinya, Tigray. But there's a quote I want to say. Shemitic Semitic equals all languages and peoples who are Shemitic Semitic, which includes Shemitic Africans and so-called Black African Americans, right? Not just and only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy and anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Semitic. And that's from AASH, Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Hebrew, the founder, right? The creator, Uziyahu Ben Yehuda. All right, so that's one reason why we're not Shemitic Semitic. Another one, let's look at anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic is hostile to or prejudice against Jews, right? Okay, anti-Semitic. Merriam-Webster. All right, it says relating to or characterized by anti-Semitism, feeling or showing hostility toward or discrimination against Jews as a cultural, racial, or ethnic group, right? Again, you have Shemitic, that is languages, another word for Semitic, peoples, another word for Semitic, all right? And then on the right, you have the Semitic. You have the Akkadians, Phoenicians, the Hebrews, and then you have Amharic of Ethiopia, Tigrinya of Eritrea, and Tigray, which is in both. Again, the statement is, we are not anti-Shemitic Semitic, because Shemitic Semitic equals all languages and peoples, right? Who are Shemitic Semitic, which includes Shemitic Africans and so-called Blacks African Americans, not just and only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy and anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic Semitic. All right, 5C. Again, you see in the middle, you see the map of Afro-Asiatic. That's the upper part of Africa, but it has Africa and the Middle East. It doesn't go any further. So you don't see it going to Asia. You don't see it going to Europe, North America, South America. You see where Afro-Asiatic is at. It's Africa and Middle East. It's a part of our history. The top half of Africa is Afro-Asiatic. The bottom half is Niger-Congo, right? Again, to the left, you see the chart. You see there's 6 different Afro-Asiatic classifications. 1 is Berber, 2 is Chadic, 3 is Cushitic, 4 is Ometic, 5 is Shemitic, and 6 is Egyptian. right? And then you have the 3 Afro-Asiatic Hebrew classification chart. You got Berber, Northern Berber, you know, the Morocco, you know, the Moors, Cushitic, Eastern Cushitic, the Ethiopian, the Hamitic, Ethiopians, Oromia, Somalia, and Afar. And you're gonna have Afar in both Ethiopia and Eritrea. Then you have Shemitic, Central Shemitic, Mesopotamia, Iraq, which is Sumeria, Arabia, the Midianites, the language Arabic, Israelites, Hebrew, right? Southern Shemitic. You have Tigrania of Eritrea, Amharic, Ethiopia, Tigray, which is in both Ethiopia and Eritrea. You have India, the city, the Habshi. You have the Yemenites. You have Habasha, which is Ethiopians and Eritreans that are Shemitic. And then you have Ge'ez. Again, Shemitic, Semitic, all language. And then if you look at this chart, if you research all 6 of these 6 different classifications of Afro-Asiatic, if you look at all these nations, you'll understand they are all Edenic, they are all African, they are all melanated, they are all what we would call Black. Shemitic, Semitic, all languages and peoples, right? Who are Shemitic, Semitic, which includes Shemitic Africans and so-called Blacks or African Americans, not just in only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy, and anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic, Semitic, by Ash Uziyahu Ben Yehuda. So when we talk about anti-Semitic, we are not anti-Shemitic Semitic because we are part of the Shemitic Semitic family. You know, East Africa is heavy with that. But in Israel, you have so-called African Americans being mistreated. You have Eritreans being mistreated. You got Ethiopians. All right. Again, you see the definition of Hebrew. You have Hebrew, right? As a member of the Semitic or Shemitic peoples inhabiting ancient Palestine, and claiming descent from Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Israelite, a Shemitic or Semitic language of the Afro-Asiatic family. The language of the original Hebrews, of the ancient Hebrews, I'm sorry. Now the national language of Israel, Afro, a thick hairstyle with very tight curls that sticks out all around the head, like the natural hair of some Black people. Origin 1930s, independent uses of Afro, or an abbreviation of African. With this one, you can see the chart. You see the chart, look at that. That's East Africa. That's Southern Arabia. This is Northern Arabia. It doesn't go past. The four rivers of Eden starts right here. This is the Iraq-Iran-Kuwait border. This is the fertile crescent go around here. Ancient civilization, Mesopotamia, Chaldea, Israel, all that. It's all right there. And then Kemet is right here. So we are not anti-Shemitic Semitic because we are not anti-ourselves. The 12 tribes of Israel. Reuben, Yehuda, Dan, Asher, Shimon, Yissaschar, Naphtali, Yosef, Lewi or Levi, Zebulon, Gad, and Benyam. All right. So these are the 12 tribes of Israel, okay? We are not anti-Shemitic or Semitic. My next one, part 6, I'm going to break down you are anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic if you think, believe, or say these things. I'm going to do that in part 6, okay? Again, we are not anti-Shemitic Semitic. You see, you have Abraham, you have Keturah. These are her sons. You have Sarai, which name was changed to Sarah. You have Yitzchak, Isaac. Isaac had Rebekah. Rebekah had Yaakov, Jacob, which name was changed to Israel, and then it had Esau, which is the Edomites, right? Then Yaakov had 4 wives: Zilpah, Leah, Rachel, Bilhah, Jacob wives and concubines. And then you have Dinah, which is the 13th child, or the daughter or the sister of Israel. Then you have Gad, you have Asher, Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Joseph, Benjamin, Dan, and Naphtali. Again, we are not anti-Shemitic or Semitic, because Shemitic, we got to account for Shemitic, Semitic, all languages and peoples, all languages, all peoples who are Shemitic, Semitic, which includes the Shemitic Africans and so-called Blacks, African Americans. So if you do not accept all of the Shemitic, Semitic community, especially the Shemitic Africans, who've been knowing who they are for thousands of years, especially the so-called Blacks or African Americans, if you're trying to ridicule us, if you're trying to deny us our culture, our freedom, speak our truth, live out our truth, you are anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic. And I can even put it in Hebrew. So Shemitic, Semitic, all languages and peoples who are Shemitic, Semitic, which includes the Shemitic Africans and so-called Blacks, African Americans, not just and only European Jewish descent, because that would be white supremacy, and anti-Afro-Asiatic Shemitic, Semitic. And you see the breakdown of Shem. This is the genealogy of Shem. We come down here to Abraham. This is Mesopotamia. This is the Fertile Crescent. Look, we are not anti-Shemitic Semitic. You got Mesopotamia, Euphrates, Tigris, Assyria, Fertile Crescent, Phoenicia, Lower Egypt, Upper Egypt. You see it starts here around the Iran-Kuwait border on the Persian Gulf, and it curves around Israel. You see it's right in there. Remember Abraham and Ur of Chaldea went to Egypt, promised land is Israel, but it's all in that Fertile Crescent, the birth of a nation. And see Afro-Asiatics all right here. All right, I hope this helped you. Shalom, shalom.